When I say offensive line preview for spring camp, what's the first two words that should come to your mind? It's Darnell Wright. How do you replace him? I think one of the most underrated headed into a season athletes that Tennessee's had in a long time. You're talking about a guy who can do backflips at 330 pounds. I was told of his athleticism early on in the 2022 season, and I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe, but can he handle Will Anderson? Turns out he can. Shut Will Anderson down. Turns out that he's climbing into the first round. There's no question about it, Caleb. That's a major, major hole to fill at right tackle. And as far as a utility guy, if anything had ever happened at left tackle, it would take two players out for him to play at left tackle. He could have played another position. He just is an all-around. There's nobody in the nation that wouldn't take Darnell Wright right now, given what we saw last year. Major, major void for the Vols to fill.
Huge void. Rare talent. Again, he was the only unanimous 5-star on last year's team for a reason. He was a baller. It's going to be tough to replace him. I think Tennessee has some options. They're working through some things. But that was the most underrated part of the offense last year, was just how good Darnell Wright was. And I'm still not over the fact that Darnell Wright and Trey Smith started on the same offensive line for 2 years, and Tennessee never did better than 8-5 with Jimmy Pruitt. I mean, like, that alone, you should have been able to average like 7 yards a carry no matter who was running back with those two on the line.
Yeah. Oh, bullet head. All right. So center Cooper Mays will be the strength of this unit, I believe. He got through last season completely healthy. He was once thought of as undersized. Now he's an all-SEC performer. He was picked by the media in SEC Media Days as all-SEC. So Cooper Mays will be the guy who leads the unit, and I think has Tennessee in great hands at the center position. And, of course, we love him on our YouTube channel. We'll have a new podcast with him later today. Behind him, if something were to happen, would be Ollie Lane, maybe Parker Ball, but you don't want to lose Cooper Mays. I'll just go ahead and tell you that. At right guard, the Vols are also in good hands. It'll be Javontes Spraggins. He started 12 games last season. And as far as right tackle replacing Wright, I'm told it'll be Jeremiah Crawford and Gerald Mincy. They'll battle for playing time this spring, but that could last into fall camp. So your thoughts on Crawford and Mincy at right tackle in place of Wright?
I thought last year Crawford was getting more playing time just because Mincy was developing at the position. I think Mincy explodes this year and takes it by storm.
Yep, I think we're on the same page there. Now, a guy that I had heard mixed reviews when he showed up on campus was John Campbell. And I was kind of wondering if he was one of those transfers that comes in and then you're like, fine if he leaves. But now I've heard good things about him. He transferred from Miami. I think at the very least he'll get the early shot at spring practice to be that starting left tackle. So we look at left tackle.
You mean right tackle?
No.
I thought you were talking about Gerald Mincy and Crawford for left tackle. Sorry.
No, I've been told they'll be a right tackle.
Oh,
so,
okay. All right.
So we'll see, but that's what I've been told. So Campbell, I think, is a guy at the tackle position. He transfers from Miami. And then the guy that I think is a budding young star is Andre Keurig, who transferred from Texas. I think Keurig is going to be really good, a dominant guard at left guard. I think he's going to be very, very good.
Can't wait to get my coffee and watch him play.
It's pretty good. Is there an NIL opportunity out there for him?
There should. Some Keurig company has got to work with him on this. I mean, this is too good. I'm with you. I think Keurig. I thought Keurig and Mincy would be the starters at tackle. I thought Keurig would be right tackle, Mincy would be left, but apparently you're saying Mincy will be left and Keurig will be right. Or Mincy will be right and Keurig will be left.
I think this is all very pliable. I mean, I think when you head into spring, you'll see. I think that's the way they would want it to work out. A lot of times we view left tackle in football traditionally as the more important position. I don't know that it's any more important in Josh Heupel's offense, the right or left. I think that was evident by seeing Darnell Wright move to the right.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Again, we talked about it. There were just no options at left tackle that first year, so Wright moved over there. And also you had Cade Mays, who is a natural right tackle. So, Cade Mays could really only play right tackle. You want Darnell Wright out on the field, and you want Cade Mays out on the field when you have both of them. So, that makes sense to move right to left tackle there. I think particularly with there was always a few when you have a quarterback where you call at least 3 to 5 designed runs in a game, on those the right tackle is equally as important as the left tackle, and I think that does matter more to a certain degree.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I think Tennessee will be. I think in some ways they'll be better in the offensive line, even without Darnell Wright.
That's a leap.
It's a leap.
I don't. Yeah, you're and Jerome Carvin is going.
Okay, I'll take back better as a whole. But I think they will be. I think they are better. How about this? They're better equipped to handle a loss of a Darnell Wright than they would have been in previous years.
Yeah, I could go with you on that. I think this offensive line unit, put it this way, this offensive line is deeper than last year's offensive line. I don't necessarily know if it's better. Would you rather have there's a better 10 on this offensive line? Last year was a better 5. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So would you rather have a better 5 or a better 10? I mean, I don't know. So that's the real question.
Gosh, if I knew they were all going to be healthy like last year, which they were for the most part, I would take the better 5. I would take the very good 5 over the kind of good 10. But you can't guarantee that. And, Tennessee was very fortunate in the lack of injuries that they suffered as a whole, but in particular on the offensive line. So, especially with Cooper Mays, I mean, the previous year he had injury issues, and you're thinking to yourself, can he make it through a season? But to Cooper's credit, man, he worked his way into a bigger athlete, and just I think is turned into one of the better offensive linemen in the SEC, and definitely one of the best centers.